Hey guys, it's Lane with Tim's Nation. I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about the Adeptus Custodes army that I'm bringing against DJ today. Now, we just got a codex recently, and I'm not going to do a full codex review. I'm not. I have a Custodes army that I'm proud of. I like the way it looks, painted it all up. I probably have 6,000 points of Custodes, but I don't play them that often because it seems like GW's rules for them are either overpowered or underpowered. They have trouble finding that happy medium. So I don't play them a whole ton, but I do like them. They're fun to play, but I'm not going to do a full codex breakdown just because there are other people smarter than me who play Custodes more than I do, who can give you better advice and better feedback and better, response, hot takes, cold takes, whatever you want to say on the new codex. Now, today I'll be running the Shield Host detachment. This means I have the martial katas. The katas changed a little bit. The katas lost something and gained something. So before, and not the previous in the index, the katas let you choose one of three things for your whole army at the start of the fight phase: either lethal hits, sustained hits, or you were neg 1 to hit. And again, this is only applied to combat. They lost the neg 1 to hit, so they lost the defensive kata. However, now you choose these on a unit by unit basis. So if one unit's going to be better going into lethal hits and another unit will be better going into sustained hits, then you can choose based on the individual units. You just got to remember each one. That's a problem for me, is remembering all my rules all the time. But it does give you some more flexibility, at least on the offensive one. And then the Shield Host special rule is Martial Mastery once per game at the start of a battle round. So not necessarily my command phase, just the start of a battle round. I choose to activate the Martial Mastery. It goes until the beginning of the next battle round. And in combat, the martial katas proc on 6s. They're either lethals or sustained on 6s. Well, in the martial mastery turn in that battle round, they will be popping off on 5s. So lethals popping off on 5s or sustained popping off on 5s. In addition to that, the whole army's close combat attacks get an additional AP on their weapons. Just meaning basically the Custodes are going to call the wah. They're going to get orky and just have a one hard-hitting turn. They've already got the invuln save, so they don't get any additional invuln like the orcs do, but it definitely ups their damage output, or the potential for their damage output, for one good turn. So they lose that 4-up Feel No Pain to mortals and Dev's Wounds, but they gain the ability to do some additional damage output. Now, most of the typical Custode units are going to benefit from this, like obviously your Custodian Guard, the Wardens, all the characters in close combat. I think it's particularly useful for the Venatari. I've run the Venatari a couple times on the channel here. The Venatari, specifically the ones with the lances, not the pistols. The pistols have been terrible this edition. But the Venatari, the jump pack Custodes, you really can control when they get into engagement because they rapid ingress for free, and multiple units can do it in the same turn for free. But they also, even if it's not rapid ingress, even if you're just making their 10-inch move, they can really dictate when they get into engagement range and get into charge and fight. As that means they're probably better suited to taking advantage of the Martial Mastery special rule for Shield Hosts. So I'm excited. I've got 2 3-man units here, so it's not a huge part of the army. They're still expensive to take them, but yeah, I want to see if they get to pop off and benefit from that special rule for the Shield Host this game. Also, I'm going to review the stratagems and the enhancements a little bit that I take here. We'll go through the list here. It might be a little slow today because this is the first time I'm playing with the new codex, but let's take a look at the list, see what I brought, and go from there. All right, this is Adeptus Custodes in the Shield Host detachment. I've got 4 characters today. I'm taking Shield Captain on the Dawn Eagle jet bike, so a Virtus Praetor Captain on the jet bike, and he's just going to be by himself. I didn't bring another unit of Virtus Praetors for him to attach to, so he's just going to be, all on his lonesome out there doing, having little adventures by himself. So the model, he's got a 12-inch move, toughness 6, 7 wounds, so he's reasonably durable. And his special rule is interesting because once per game at the end of the fight phase, he can either fall back, or if he's not engaged, he can just make a normal move. With a 12-inch moves, that means once per game, this guy's just going to get some extra mobility, which can be huge. And then he also has the ability to do a battle tactics strat for 0 CP. It may for him just be re-rolling a charge roll or something. We'll see. Or re-rolling a save roll. We'll see how that comes up. There's probably not a lot of strats I'm going to use on him, Custode specific strats. But and I have given him the enhancement today. Let's see, what is it called, guys? I just got to learn these. From the Hall of Armories. Basically, his attack is a little bit better. He gets +1 to the strength, taking from strength 7 to strength 8, and +1 to the damage, going from 2 damage to 3 damage. I don't think the strength improvement is going to be huge. At strength 7 with Lance on the charges, it's probably not going to change his, the likelihood of him wounding, but that 3 damage will be useful, especially when I'm going into some bigger targets like Dread Knights and the Terminators. Being able to do a little more damage will be helpful. So we'll see how he performs today. Again, he's just going to be by himself out there cruising around, getting into trouble. Next, we do have the Blade Champion, the little Blade Wizard. He has changed a little bit in his rules. You can no longer reroll the advance roll with him. You can reroll charge rolls, and then once per game, you can advance and charge with the unit that he leads. He'll be leading Wardens today because they really benefit from him getting them into danger close as quick as possible. He does have an enhancement, guys. Now, the Panoptispex enhancement just gives his unit ignores cover on their ranged attacks. It's only 5 points, and I had exactly 5 points left over at the end of this list, so that's why we're taking it. So the Wardens, when they're shooting, will be ignoring cover. It might be more valuable to put that on one of the Custodian Guard squads, just because they get the ability to reroll wounds when they're shooting if they're on an objective, and they can shoot twice once per game. But it's not the way I had the list built. So, but maybe we'll see. We'll see if it's relevant on the Wardens today. Next, I've got Trajan Valoris. So Trajan Valoris' Moment Shackle changed a little bit, and his base rule, his base ability. So his base ability was that his unit can ignore modifiers. That's no longer the case. They can only ignore modifiers to their hit weapon skill or ballistic skill or their hit rolls. So I don't know. If someone pops smoke or someone's stealthy, it doesn't affect your hit rolls. But other than that, all their rolls can be affected. Their wound rolls, their damage, all that can be affected. So it's a bit of a downgrade for him. And his Moment Shackle, once per game, you can pick one of these 3 things and do them. You can only do it once per game, though. Now, he used to have a thing where you could fight first. However, they took that one away. So he still has his ability for once per game. He can go to 12 attacks, which is it's a lot of attacks on this chunky boy. And or the other option is to take a 2-up inbound. So I'm definitely hoping that I get to pop off that big 12 attack with his 3 damage axe, strength 10 axe. So hopefully that gets to play out a little bit today. We'll see. And the final character, we have Kyria Draxus. Her rules haven't changed. She went up in like 10 points, but she's still totally worth it. I'm not going to get into a whole bunch, but basically she can shoot pretty well and make her untargetable outside of 18 inches. And she pairs very well with Custodian Guard because they get to their unit rerolls wounds when they're on an objective, so she benefits from that. And once per game, they get to shoot twice, so she benefits from that as well. And once per game, I have a strat where I can give a unit with their in the shooting phase either lethal or sustained hits. And on a unit that's going to shoot twice with her attached to it, that can definitely become relevant with a number of shots they get shooting twice in a phase. So we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully I get to use that strat today. She'll be leading, like I said, leading a unit of Custodian Guard. Next, we got 2 5-mans of Custodian Guards. Their rules have not really changed. We've got 1 2-man of Alaris Custodians, 2 of the Terminator guys. They're going to be more for utility, although they can put out damage. Their main job in this game is going to be to score some points because they can up and down once per game. We have 1 of the Caladius Grav tanks with the Arachnus Heavy Blaze Cannon. If I had more of these tanks, I would take more of them. They shoot pretty well. They're pretty a solid unit for 215 points. Surprisingly durable, just a little bit more durable than most other vehicles of the same type. Their toughness 11, 14 wounds. They do have a 5-up invuln, 2-up save. So hopefully gets a chance to knock out some Grey Knights today, survive a little bit. I'm really worried about the shooting that I'm going to take from these from these Dread Knights. So, but he's got a good damage output with his ranged weapon. The Twin Arachnus Heavy Blaze Cannon is just 4 shots, hits on 2s. It's Strength 12 and Twin Linked. AP 3, D6 plus 2 damage. So definitely has the ability to chew through some bigger vehicles and tanks, that sort of thing. Next, 1 squad of the Wardens, 5 men of the Custodian Wardens. These guys' rule didn't change, so once per game they can pop off a 4-up, feel no pain to anything for a phase, and they are -1 to wound when led by a character. So still a super durable unit. I got a 4-man of the Prosecutors, Sisters of Silence, just as a little utility unit, and because I had some points. And then we've got 2 3-mans of the Venatari Custodians. These are little jump pad guys with wings. Their special rule, they've got a couple special rules that are actually pretty strong. So one of them, they can rapid ingress for free, and they can rapid ingress even if another unit already has. So both units can rapid ingress in the same turn if I want them to for 0 CP. And they can shoot and charge in a turn in which they fell back. This is kind of interesting because this detachment, the Shield Host, has a stratagem so one unit can fall back and shoot and charge. These guys can also, they're naturally fall back, shoot and charge, meaning I can do that with 3 units in a single turn, these 2 guys and 1 other Custodian unit. That definitely makes for a lot of potential in a turn of combat, or giving them the ability to shoot and then charge again. That's it. All right, guys, I have the phone out because I'm going to go through the stratagem a little bit. I don't think I need to go over everyone in detail, but there's a couple of them that I hope we'll get to use today. So they do have Arcane Genetic Alchemy. This is one that will give them a 4-up, feel no pain to just mortal wounds. It's kind of nice because you can use it in any phase after they've taken mortal wounds. After they've taken mortal wounds means if DJ tank shocks me with one of these Nemesis Dread Knights, after it takes mortal wounds means I can wait till after he rolls the dice to see how many mortal wounds he does, and then decide whether or not I want to use it. That timing is kind of specific. It may be that he picked, because it's after I take a wound. I don't take a wound until he's rolled his tank shock dice to see how many wounds I've taken. It could be 0. So we have to wait till he rolls. It's because it says specifically just after a mortal wound has been allocated. So that means if someone rolls a tank shock or does a grenade and whiffs on the roll to damage you, you don't have to spend the CP. Oh, they only get 1 or 2 mortals? Don't worry about it. Don't spend the CP. But if they get a whole bunch, then you can decide to spend the CP. So interesting timing on that strand. We'll see if it comes up. I know DJ loves the tank shock, so we'll see if it comes up today. Next, Avenge the Fallen. This one you just get extra attacks if your unit's below full strength. We'll see if that comes up. I'll probably forget to use that one. Unwavering Sentinels. This is the -1 hit. So basically, after an enemy unit declares its targets, you can make one of your units -1 to hit for 1 CP. It's like getting that other part of that other kata, the martial kata, back, except you have to spend a CP for it. Now, this one, multi-potentiality. Multi-potentiality. I'm going to have to, it's like transuranic arquebus. I'm going to have to learn that one. I'll have to say it a bunch of times. Multi-potentiality is a stratagem that just allows 1 unit to fall back, shoot, and charge. I talked about that. I was going through the list, but I think it definitely has a lot of potential with a Custodes unit, especially a nice big brick, giving them the ability to fall back and shoot, do some damage, but letting them charge again means they get to fight first. So that I'm definitely planning to use that at some point in this game. Vigilance Eternal. This is just sticking an objective. It has to be a battle line unit, so like Wardens can't do it. Really only Custodian Guard can do it. And then finally, Architect Munitions. In the shooting phase, for the entire phase, one of my Custodes units will either get lethal hits or sustained hits. I can choose which one. So it just makes their shooting a little bit better. Like I said, on a turn I plan to shoot twice with one of the Custodian Guards. That can be really useful because it's going to get all those extra dice and all those extra rolls on the second shooting attack. And if Kyria Draxus is in that unit, she'll get to take advantage of that as well. So I'm really just hoping to get those Venatari in and during the the turn for the Custodes, the Martial Mastery turn, to get them to really take advantage of it. It's going to be tricky to time that, especially if I go second, because I have to declare at the beginning of the battle round, which means DJ will know what I'm planning to do that turn. But the mobility, the speed of the captain on the jet bike and the Venatari will give them the ability to at least get in there and make charges when I want them to. So follow me over to the battle report. Let's see how the new Custodes do today. Interested how they do in Grey Knights. We got two armies that are all 2-up save. So it's going to be a slugfest. We'll see how it goes. But follow me over there, guys. Check it out.